Well, you also sent over your personal Chandler Tube Drive pedal, which is called the Tube Overdrive within AmpliTube.
Yeah.
And again, same question. Again, this is modeled after your personal pedal, so it's not like a factory pedal, or we just bought it on eBay or Reverb or wherever people buy gear now. This is your personal pedal that we modeled. What is it about this overdrive that kind of caught your attention over the years?
Well, I knew Paul Chandler quite well. He's a great guitar player from Oklahoma who had somehow settled in San Francisco in the 80s. And so I probably met him at Gary Brower's shop, Real Guitars, hanging out there. He, along with BK Butler, really had a great idea about what guitar players needed. And I think it was mainly because Paul was a really talented player himself, and he knew from experience what a guitar player wanted from feel as well as sound, So I have 4 of these pedals that were from that era. And every time Paul would make me one, I'd come back and I'd say, can you make it do this? And I don't know what he was doing at the time. I didn't know much about pedal design, but I think he and BK were playing with the biasing of the tubes and trying some different capacitors here and there. So I wound up with these 4 that had writing all over them based on what songs they were used on all the albums. And so this is from Not of This Earth, Surfing, all the way up till now. We're still using them. And they're unique sounding. I mean, they don't sound like the Boss pedals at all. They don't sound like any other pedal manufacturer. They're just whatever those things were. And they don't even sound like the new ones. They're just so unique sounding. And so the one that I sent you, really, it took a long time to decide which is my favorite one that I would say is my go-to one, let's say, for making a record. And I know you guys could tell because all this stuff had my writing on it. I even wrote my name on it from the early tours because we kept getting our pedals stolen all the time, And but that particular one, in my mind, has that unique singing quality to it, just the right amount of compression so you can play stuff that's really low and stuff that's really high. That's the one I use to record the title track, Surfing with the Alien. It's just, I use it for the beginning of Satch Boogie for when I play the head. That's that into the Marshall. And I should point out, the JVM is just built on a super lead, a 1969 super lead. So when you set up the clean channel and then just send the volumes all the way up, you're getting the same thing. So yeah. You put that together with the tube driver and there it is. There you're there. It's the late 60s. You're at the Royal Albert Hall and you're playing way too loud.
Let me ask you a question because we have 2 overdrive pedals in here. Has there ever been a circumstance or a situation, whether it's stage or in a studio, where you had both overdrives going together?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the overdrives are more compatible for chaining together because of that the clean signal. Now, the tube driver doesn't mix clean. Here's the unique thing about the Chandler Tube Driver is that basically it's set up like a preamp for a vintage amp. Or you could say it's set up like the DS1, like a distortion pedal. Your signal goes in, the whole signal gets tweaked, and it comes out as one whole piece. No mixing of the original signal. All the other, famous overdrive pedals and tube screamers, whether they have tubes in them or not, those are mixed. So that's the clip signal mixed with the straight. So you can use that straight signal that's coming out of your tube screamer, and you can run it into the Chandler, and you're actually feeding the Chandler some new fresh guitar, so to speak, and then you can dial back its gain, and so then you can take advantage of its sweet compression or its unique EQ curve that perhaps the overdrive pedal that's first that you're using for main gain doesn't have as much. So I actually really do like that. But having said that, I must confess I'm always putting pedals together in the wrong order on purpose because I want to see what happens.
Yeah, and that's how you find things.
Yeah,
that's how you find things.